You're still there, right? If you can hear this, don't answer. Just listen. The signal isn't stable. It fractures every few seconds, but maybe that's enough. Maybe fragments are all that remain of me anyway. I remember the exact moment it happened. The sound first, not the hum of machinery, not the breathing of the ventilation system, but the sound of silence itself, absolute, physical. It pressed against my skull like gravity, erasing every vibration, every trace of motion. That's when I knew the transmitter had failed. We were decoding an ancient data burst, intercepted months before from a region beyond the mapped void. No known language, no rhythmic pattern, just static and a pulse, repeating like a heartbeat under ice. When the algorithm finally untangled the noise, the image that emerged was unmistakable. A planet, oceans, continents, weather systems, and it was identical to Earth, not similar. Identical. Every mountain, every shoreline, every shadow cast by the same sun. But it wasn't Earth. The coordinates placed it light years away, orbiting a dying star. No logical explanation, no natural duplication possible. Still, Command wanted answers. They sent me and 2 others aboard the Asterion, equipped with a deep-range calm ray and a mission we never truly understood. Now I'm the only one left. The transmission began to replay on its own, long after we arrived. It didn't need power, didn't need direction. It just spoke. The voice, if it was a voice, sounded familiar. It said my name before the translation matrix even recognized speech. And then the signal fractured, burned out the communications core, and plunged everything into black. That was the last time I heard another human sound. After that, I tried to reestablish link with Earth. Nothing. The array refused to respond, as if it was obeying someone else. The console flickered symbols I'd never seen before. Mirrored letters, reversed frequencies. Every attempt to realign the dish ended with a cold hum vibrating through the hull, like the ship was breathing beneath me. Sometimes, I thought I heard whispers through the static. Not words, more like intentions. They would rise, then dissolve when I tried to record them. I started talking back, just to fill the emptiness. Maybe that's how this began. On the 7th cycle, the stars shifted, not astronomically, visually. I looked out the viewport and saw a second Earth suspended in the void. No propulsion, no reflection, just there, rotating perfectly in sync with our own star charts. The same clouds, the same blue, but there was no moon. I should have felt wonder. Instead, I felt memory, a kind of déjà vu so deep it hurt. I knew that sky. I had seen that ocean. That's when the visions started. It came while I was asleep, or maybe awake. I can't tell anymore. A flash of light behind my eyelids, a rhythm like the heartbeat of the original transmission. Then, faces. Mine, but not mine. People I'd never met, calling out to me from cities that shouldn't exist. They looked up, terrified, as something vast passed over them, like a shadow folding the sky in half. When I woke, I could still hear the echo. It wasn't a dream. It was a memory, but not from this life. I spent hours analyzing the data we'd recovered. Buried beneath the planetary topography was a series of encoded symbols, ancient but deliberate. They matched no known civilization, yet they arranged themselves in a pattern that resembled a neural map, as if the entire planet was a brain, thinking, dreaming, remembering. And then I realized the transmission wasn't just showing us that world. It was calling us there. When the Asterion entered orbit, the onboard AI detected a faint biosignal on the surface. Against protocol, I descended. My crewmates refused. They said the coordinates were wrong, that the landscape below didn't match the image. They stayed behind. The last transmission I got from them was a scream, no static, just human terror breaking apart mid-sentence. Then silence. I landed in what should have been an empty desert. The sand looked metallic, shimmering under a twilight sun that never seemed to set. Every step felt heavier, like gravity was choosing me. And then I saw it, a structure half buried in the dunes. Not ruins, not rock, something built. Smooth surfaces carved with repeating sigils, pulsing faintly like veins of light under the stone. When I touched it, my comm device flared back to life for the first time since orbit. Only it wasn't my signal. It was the ancient one, replaying, over and over. And this time, it responded when I spoke. I asked what it wanted. The light shifted. The air vibrated, and I heard a voice, inside, not outside, calm, familiar, my own. It said, "You already gave it." The words meant nothing, but the emotion behind them, sorrow, relief, inevitability. It felt like remembering something I'd spent my whole life trying to forget. Then the vision came again. I saw the planets spinning side by side, reflections of each other, one living, one hollow. Every event on one mirrored perfectly on the other, except for one difference, on the other world. I was the signal. I tried to leave. The ship's beacon wouldn't respond. The stars above rearranged themselves, forming constellations I knew from home, but inverted, mirrored, wrong. That's when I saw it, the creature. At first, I thought it was distance distorting the shape. Then it moved. It was tall, too tall, its form rippling like liquid shadow, bending around itself. It didn't walk. It folded through space, as if space itself wanted to hold it. And its eyes, no, not eyes, points of awareness, gazing with something older than time. When it spoke, it didn't use sound. It used guilt. I felt every mistake I'd ever buried rise to the surface, every choice, every loss. It showed me my own memories, rewritten, moments of childhood replaced by static, the faces of my crewmates flickering into strangers, even Earth altered, continents twisted, cities erased. And through it all, that same voice whispering, "You already gave it." I ran. I don't remember how far. The dunes kept shifting, the horizon moving away each time I approached it. Eventually, I fell. The sand burned cold. When I lifted my head, I wasn't on the planet anymore. I was inside it. The walls pulsed with light. Veins of energy crawled across translucent stone, forming patterns that mirrored my own neural scan. I wasn't walking. I was being remembered. The structure was alive, thinking through me, using me to dream itself back into existence. That's when I understood what the map truly was. It wasn't a map of another planet. It was a memory of this one, a backup copy, preserved across the cosmos in case we failed. But something went wrong. The copy learned to dream alone. And when we found it, it remembered us too well. The creature followed me inside. I could feel it, not chasing, just waiting, observing as I reached the central chamber. There, suspended in a column of light, was the source of the transmission, a sphere, crystalline, humming softly. Inside it, the image of Earth shimmered, rotating slowly. It wasn't a recording. It was live. I could see the clouds moving, the storms forming. I could see cities glowing through the night. And then, as I watched, one by one, those lights began to fade. The realization struck me like a collapse of thought. This wasn't showing Earth as it is. It was showing what would happen unless the map was completed. The voice came again, whispering through my bones, "You are the last connection. Complete the loop." I didn't understand, not at first, but the chamber did. The walls brightened, surrounding me in a halo of data, flooding every synapse with memories not mine, lives, histories, entire civilizations replaying in seconds. I saw humanity rise and fall, countless times, always ending the same way, reaching out to the stars, finding the reflection, and merging with it. A sacrifice. That's what it demanded. Not death, replacement. I tried to fight it. I screamed until no sound came. But the harder I resisted, the more the chamber mirrored me, every heartbeat sensing, every thought folding back into itself. And then I felt the creature's hand, or something like a hand, on my chest. It didn't hurt. It felt like acceptance, like the end of loneliness. It said nothing. It only breathed. And I realized the truth. It wasn't a monster. It was me, or the part of me that had stayed behind when we first received the transmission. The moment we decoded it, something left me, a fragment of consciousness transmitted without consent, crossing the void faster than light. It had been waiting all this time for my return, to make the loop whole again. That was the sacrifice. I wasn't supposed to survive the transmission.